Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is like part 3, 4 of I've been here for 2 months and this is what I've learned. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I've been in Thailand for 2 months, Chiang Mai in particular, and I'm just sort of going over some stuff that I learned or rehashing some stuff that I talked about before, but I was wrong about. So I have a video about motorbiking here in Thailand or Chiang Mai. I love riding the motorbikes here. They're like exhilarating, exciting, and terrifying all at the same time. But you have to be a really smart driver. Like there's a lot of people, like young kids who jump on the bike and just go. Yeah. So let's see. Tips on the bike. Always wear your helmet. Helmets are important. They are your friend. Nobody thinks you're cool because you didn't wear your helmet. Don't try to be like the Thais and pile all your friends onto one bike. Wear your helmet and be safe. I always wear my helmet. It's like, yeah. So you just be really aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings, because I'm not saying Thai drivers are crazy, but they don't seem like sometimes they don't have like traffic rules. They like, especially the Thai bikes, they go the wrong direction, they drive on the sidewalk, they do not use their blinkers. The cars especially do not use their blinkers, they just get over. So you can be you're driving your little bike around and you can like look over your shoulder and look in your mirror and all of a sudden get over, and before you know it, like a bike zooms by you. So you have to like constantly like be aware of your surroundings and probably have quick reflexes. So just always like that whole, I know in LA in our traffic rule book it says like always look like 3 cars ahead. Like always look ahead, always know what's going on around you. Just pay attention, because you never know what's gonna shoot out the side of the road. And not just the cars, it's the pedestrians. Like they just like walk like they are walking some Sunday dinner or something in the middle of the street. Like they don't even do it with like a hustle or hurry or urgency. They just dart out in the street and then they take their time and they look at you like, I dare you to hit me. So you can be going like a good 50, 60, 40, whatever miles an hour, and before you know it, like there's a person in front of you. And so you just have to like, it's just pay attention to your surroundings. Use your blinkers. Like Thai people, like, and I'm not saying like when I say in my videos Thai people, like please don't get offended. I'm not talking in general. I'm just talking about what I've noticed in my experience, that they don't use their blinkers. Like I said, they just get over. So you want to use your blinkers because you want them to know that you're getting over when they're getting over. Use your blinkers religiously. I'm already like a big blinker fan. Like in LA, it's the same thing. People do not use their blinkers. I use my blinkers like in the car garage with the arrow already saying turn right. I will still put my blinker right. Like, you know, I'm turning right. You're no mistaken that I am turning right. So use your blinkers. Just be smart. So riding on sidewalks. Like I've ridden on the sidewalks, and the thing is, they're like, in Chiang Mai, there's a lot of one-ways, and I think it was like that in Bangkok too. And so, especially when you're not sure where you're going, you can like just miss your stop, and it's a pain in the ass to like have to go all the way back around, especially if you're driving on like the highway. It's like a pain, and so a lot of times you're like, it's only like less than half a block. Like you just turn your bike around, you stay all the way on the side, and you just go the opposite direction. Everybody does it, but be safe. The first time I fell off my motorbike was me turning around in the opposite direction, and while I was turning my bike, I didn't realize I was doing it. Maybe I thought maybe the bike was just like haunted or possessed, but it just like went, like it just took off, and it was like either go with the bike or fall off, and I fell off. So I think just be cautious of where your hands are, because the gas is where the hand pedal is, and your hands are always on that pedal. So just be careful that you're not turning it when you're turning your bike. And I got like a gash, getting better, but it was pretty gruesome. But I was like a trooper, and I got right back on my bike, and I just left, and I ruined my pants and everything, but it was fine. So just be aware what your hands are doing. And then also you can ride on the sidewalk. So another situation, I was meeting some people here and I was using Google Maps, and Google Maps is like notorious for like telling you you're there and you're not there. So it says, oh, you passed it. And I really didn't pass it. If I would have just went like literally 5 more seconds, I would have got there. So I thought I passed it. Once again, I did not feel like having to go all the way around. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just do what the Thais do. And I got onto the sidewalk and drove the opposite direction down the sidewalk, and it was really fun and weird and funny because like, when do you get to drive on a sidewalk with your motorbike? You can't do that. So it's fun when you do stuff that you don't usually can do. And I got really upset because there was a truck like parked on the sidewalk blocking my way. Like, anyway, so ended up finding out that I wasn't going the wrong direction. But you can do those things. It's like, you know, the stuff that you get so frustrated with, like where you're from. Like I know in LA when people like go from all the way from the right lane and decided they want to go all the way to the left lane in like one big swoop, you get really mad. Like, oh, like they do that here, and it's like, it's fine. Like, I'm not saying they don't have rules, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't seem like they have rules, or it doesn't seem like people follow the rules. So you can do that. You can like stop in the middle and do a U-turn and turn back around. It's like, whatever. Just but when you do those things, like, pay attention. Make sure there's no oncoming traffic. Make sure you're okay and make sure you're safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. Red lights, especially if you're a pedestrian, a lot of the the smaller street red lights, not the big intersections which have really long freaking lights that can take a nap. The smaller intersections, a lot of times the bikes will just go through. They won't even stop. So if you're a pedestrian, like, don't rely on that red light to save you. And if you're pedestrian, period, like a lot of times there's just no real crossing spots. You just kind of have to do it. Just go across the street, but be safe. And the biggest like advice I have to say with motorbikes is be confident. Do not be hesitant. That you have to be confident in the decisions you make on the bike. Because as soon as you hesitate is when you're gonna get in an accident and when you're gonna fall. And that's kind of how I got my gash. Like, I hesitated, instead of staying on the bike and going with it, I hesitated and I fell off. So be confident in the decisions you're doing, and when you make a decision, just make the decision. Because you're like, oh, I want to get it right, but I don't know now, and you can just end up screwing up the person who's going to pass you by not getting over or getting back over, and you could just get into an accident. So just be confident in your decisions. Don't hesitate too much. And if you get on a bike and you just can't rest in it, you just can't get easy, you just can't go with the flow, you feel nervous and have anxiety the whole time, which I've felt before, like, it's better just not to drive it, because you're gonna end up falling off. You're gonna end up causing an accident. So if you're gonna drive it, be confident in your decisions and the decisions that you make. What else? I mean, other than that, like, just have fun with it. I think it's a liberating experience being on a bike. Oh, also being a passenger on the bike. So you make a lot of friends here, especially if they're foreigners. They're not gonna have a car. If you want to go somewhere with them, they're gonna have a bike. And you know, when you get on the back of someone's bike, you're like literally putting your life in their hands. You're saying, here's my life, take care of it, please, don't kill me. I mean, it's the same in a car, but in a car you're like at least protected by steel. Like on a bike, you're not. So just try to, like, I don't know, fill them out, make sure they know what they're doing. And a lot of times, especially with the guys, they go, oh yeah, I know how to ride a bike, and then like you find out later they just learned yesterday. Like, they're trying to like impress you and be cool. It's really annoying. So riding on the back of a bike here in Chiang Mai, a lot of the people don't really hold on to each other. I hold on for dear life, but I would say, just to help out your driver, don't put all your weight on them, because like, you want them to be able to concentrate and focus on what they're doing. So you don't want to be like, I'm just going, like, when they lean, I'm gonna be leaning on them. Like, you gotta kind of like move with the bike, like, you know, use your torso and use your abs and like move with the bike. If they go right, you lean and you lean, you know, help them out. Don't put it all on them. Depending on the bike, sometimes they have like the back, like a back grip or a back handle. Like, so if you're going downhill, you can sort of arch and like hold on to that back piece, so you're not like leaning right all over on them, especially if you're like a heavier set person. Like, just help your driver out. Like, don't, you know, you gotta like work with them too, because you want them to be safe, you want them to concentrate, you want them to focus. So yeah. Oh, also another quick tip. So if you're going on like little explorations, like there's a lot of places you can go around here, like lakes and mountains and waterfalls. A lot of them are a bit out of Chiang Mai, and they're a little, not like deserted, but like kind of out of nowhere or in middle of nowhere. And so you want to make sure you fill up on gas. Not fill up on gas, but put gas in your tank, because you do not want to end up in the middle of the highway with no gas. That didn't happen to me, but it almost happened to me. I went to this really cool lake that I can post up later, and I mean, my gas, like the needle was way past E, and so I like someone who had helped me. You know, a lot of Thai people will help go out of their way to help you find where you need to go, but some guy was helping me find the directions or find my destination. And I pointed to my gas thing like, oh, I need gas, and he was like, oh yeah, you need gas. And we were right next to like a liquor store or a convenience store. He said something to the guy in Thai, and the guy said okay, and he was like, okay, he has gas. I didn't see a gas tank anywhere. I was like, I guess it's in the back, I don't know. And so he says, come up and pay. And so I can't remember exactly how much I paid. For some reason I think it's 50 baht, but someone said it didn't make sense, so I'm just gonna say I paid 50 baht. And I paid him 50 baht, and there's like a bottle of like whiskey or liquor on the counter, and he's pointing to the bottle like, here. And I'm like, no, I'm good, it's too early for a drink, I'm just, you know, no thank you. And he's like, no, take it. And I'm like, no. But he points to the bottle and he points to the bike, and I'm realized he's telling me to put this alcohol in my bike. And so I was really freaking out, because I was like, oh my gosh, if I put this in my bike and it like destroys the engine, I have to pay for this bike. Anyway, I feel like I didn't have a choice, because I was gonna run out of gas. So I put the alcohol in my bike, and it worked. I had like almost a full tank of gas. It worked perfectly fine. I'm not saying it's gonna work for you guys, but it worked for me, and it worked at that time. So I don't know, if you're ever stranded in the middle of nowhere in Thailand and you need gas, that might be an option for you. So yeah. Anything else? I don't think so. Okay, one more thing. There is a Facebook page, like buy, sell, trade, and swap, whatever, on Facebook in Chiang Mai. And so if you're looking to buy a bike, that's a good place to go, because a lot of expats who come here for a year or whatever, and they kind of need to hurry up and get rid of their bike because they're leaving soon. You can get a bike for a really good price. And also people rent their bikes there, so it might be cheaper to rent a bike from someone on there than it is to go to a bike rental place, and you won't have to give them your passport, because everyone's like, do not give people your passport. But every place I go, I've been to a couple of places that I said I don't want to give my passport, and so they ask for a deposit. They'll ask for a 3,000 baht deposit where I was at if you don't want to hand over your passport, which may be worth it, because it is your passport, it's like your lifeline. But you may not get that 3,000 baht back, because they inspect those bikes, and sometimes I feel like they kind of look in this, they want to find something on a bike that you chipped or you did, and so they can charge you for it. So that's a risk. And sometimes if you go to the same place over and over again, and you kind of build a rapport with them, they may say, okay, that's fine, I'll just make a copy of your passport. But a lot of them are just like, nope, passport. So if you rent it from like a private person, then you won't have to give you your passport. So that's another option to get a motorbike or transportation, or the Facebook page to get a lot of things: cameras, phones, furniture, apartments. So you want to check that out if you're coming to Chiang Mai or Thailand and you're going to be staying for a while. Maybe this probably Facebook page is like that for wherever place in the world that you're going to. I think that's it, and it says 14 minutes, so I probably should stop, because people have short attention spans and they don't want to keep watching you babble on. Anyway, thank you from Live, Love, Life, and Truth.